Hi, Philip here.
Dominic here.
Hi, and welcome to the Watch Hub at David Carpenter. We are watch enthusiasts who look after other watch enthusiasts. So if you like all things watch related, please hit the subscribe button down there and the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our wonderful thing, our aura.
Wonderful thing.
Our wonderful thing, the thing that we're about. Anyhow, I hope you're well. Yeah, we've got an interesting topic today, something that comes up a lot, doesn't it, Dom?
Oh yes.
That of the Grail watch. And to those of you who aren't sure what that means, I'm sure you do. If you're watching this channel, you know exactly what it means. But it's that seemingly unattainable watch, the elusive, valuable, rare, sought-after piece that is right at the top of your list that just eludes.
Well, I think it definitely is your list, isn't it?
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yes.
This is a different one.
Absolutely, yeah. I've swatched all the way, mate.
You finished up Pinnacle years ago.
No, yeah, I did.
Your
Yeah.
Adam.
My Adam, my Swatch Adam. Yeah. It was a Pinnacle watch at the time.
Yeah, of course, yeah, exactly. That's the thing, though, isn't it?
No, you're right. No, and actually, it's a very good point. Actually, the Grail watch is completely subjective.
Oh yeah.
And depends on where you are in your life, I guess, and what.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
What? Some people will go Grail is to do with how much it is,
Yeah.
and that's it.
And how scarce, how available it is.
Yeah, the rarity, the limited edition, all that type of thing. But then others will look at because it's just beyond their reach, maybe, or it's what they've lusted after.
Yeah. Lusted.
After for years.
There is. There's a lot of lust in the watch world, isn't there? Well, not here, but easy. But no, that's very true. It's completely different for different people, and we see a lot of people here in Tunbridge Wells in the boutique who are after the thing that eludes them, and that I guess is the Grail, the Holy Grail. So, having spent some time here, what do you think is the Grail watch that most people are asking about? What from your experience? What's your
people that come in? Either that know about watches or don't know about watches. There's massively two different categories in there. People that don't know too much about watches, but they always go Rolex, always. And I think it's because they have a masters in marketing. So that's why people always go straight to the R word, 100%.
It's funny, isn't it? That's such a. But again, I think a lot of that is because, like you say, the way it's marketed, the way the demand and supply is fed. From the machine.
And the history that's behind that and the brand and things like that, and I think it is very much put on a pedestal for people, and wrongly or rightly, you can see inside the camp.
Yeah, for me, I find it fascinating because for me the Rolex thing is almost about commodity, and it's about because it's so hard to get hold of, and because you have to sit on a waiting list, and this whole marketing machine that Rolex have created, it becomes actually, it's about that process. The Grail watch.
You look at it behind that. Is it built to make that a Grail watch?
I'm sure it is.
Yeah,
I'm sure it is.
And they build up to that, and they get the hype, and people then build it into that pedestal of a watch at the top of their list.
It becomes something that is. It's. Oh, I've got a tag now. I've got a Breitling now. I'm after a.
Yeah.
Bizarre. And by the same token, Omega obviously, in a different way, have got their own thing going on. And I think it's interesting, the two brands, because Omega don't have that immediacy with residual value where Rolex does. As soon as you buy something there, it's better than money in the bank. Omegas, I think it's about finding the right edition, and I think that's where they've been very clever with their marketing, is that the limited edition Speedmasters that we see a lot of, that collectability is not because the model is necessarily globally scarce. It's because it's a limited thing, and it's.
I think sometimes with watches it can be a bit like cars. You can buy a watch, and the minute you walk out the showroom, there goes 20%.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you've lost.
But it could be like a car when it becomes vintage. It then rises
in value. I mean, I thoroughly agree. I think for me, it's a very different experience. That my Grail watch is something that is attainable. and that's because it's my personal choice. I've got 3 kids, so a Rolex is never going to be on the cards. It isn't. That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
So for me, I guess I've engineered my goals slightly differently. So my goals aren't about the Grail isn't necessarily an unattainable object.
I think we've discussed it before in personally numerous times about things like this, and it's personal. And you said the word already, personal preference as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we touched on it at the beginning of this. Yours will be different to mine. Mine will be different to someone else, and it just
And I think it's interesting for me seeing what kind of people are coming in looking at what kind of Grail watches. And I think when you're younger, and this is a very massively wide generalisation, but I think what we find is that when you're in your 20s, Tag Heuer is an aspirational brand, and that's really what you look at. That's or it might be a Breitling, and then when you go through experience of that, and you experience more of the watch world, and you understand what other people, the contemporaries that you're growing up with. You go to work, you get your first job, you're out there, and your boss has got a Rolex and you've got a Tag. There is I think an element of that through your working life where there's almost
aspirations.
Aspirations and almost promotional kind of thing. And some people do mark events like that by buying a watch. When I got my first massive contract, I got that watch, or when I got married, I got whatever it is. And I think when you get past that point, and we've got loads of clients who use us for servicing and all that kind of thing as well, that side of what we do. But a lot of the guys actually then revert backwards, which I find fascinating. Is that we've got guys who've got massive Rolex collections, who have everything that you and I would say, wow, that's an amazing piece. But then it kind of dips over the edge and they stop caring. Then it becomes actually about what's practical and what's usable. So I've got clients who have Rolex collections and Tudor collections and Omega collections who actually come in because they want something that's a beta, which is great. But that I find fascinating, and I don't think the trajectory in every case is always upwards. I think those people who own loads and loads of Rolexes.
When you say upwards, you say you're definitely going to value. Not upwards as in.
I probably am.
Because you have upwards as in the value, but in some people's world you have up in brands as well. But I personally don't view brands as one being lesser than the other.
No.
Because I think you're probably the same. Every brand does something very different in their own world. Yes, some of them look like each other's, there is a lot of, not copying because that's not the right thing to say, but similarities.
There's sharing of
definitely. But I think the brand thing is completely different. There's examples, the Rolex, the Omega, and then you can look at it the other way. You've got a Satina and a Hamilton. Yes, there are similarities in some of the ranges in price, but I think they're very much different, completely different things on their own.
I guess you're right. It's about what you see in that watch that makes you get excited. Is it the fact that I know that I can buy my GMT at whatever it is, £7,500, £8,000 retail, and I know that watch is a week later worth 15. That to me isn't important. It really isn't. I get why people would see that. I get why someone would want something collectible that's rare, because it's a marker in their life. It's a kind of.
I can honestly say that I've never sold a watch.
Have you not?
No. I have some watches in my collection. I've never sold a watch.
No.
And I would never want to, because there's a story behind it. There's a history. I can remember where and when and why, and I just never.
Funny,
I don't know. Friends and colleagues as well have said, "Oh, you should get rid of that and add those two together and get something." I don't want to.
It's part of your. It's part of your life. It's markers for your life.
Yeah, of course it is. Yeah. Again, we come right back around to that thing. That's personal choice.
Personal choice, absolutely. And what we've got here, interestingly, are two watches that we think are probably some of the most talked about Grail watches. So first and foremost, the R word, sorry, focus on the watch, not on him, is the Rolex GMT Master 2, the Pepsi, which was, or this one is from 2020, which is an awesome watch, you know, steeped in history. You know, those pilots making journeys transatlantic and needing, you know, a watch to tell the time in home time and local time. It's, you know, it's an iconic piece, it really is. And it's beautiful, you know, I get it. It's a lovely watch to wear. We enjoy that. Available, obviously, at davidcarpenter.co.uk, sorry, at www.davidcarpenterwatches.com.
You said it now, you want to
I've just finished it, yeah, let's do it. It's terrible, isn't it, when you get your own email address wrong. Email address? Oh dear.
Hello.
It's been a long day. And this is another one of those pieces. This is the Omega Speedmaster Silver Award Snoopy, which, well, it's just done phenomenal things, isn't it? You look at the value of this, where this is sat at the moment, considering this was a watch that was released in 2015. It's just amazing. You know, we're looking, a lot of these now we're seeing upwards of 40,000 because of its scarcity. And I get that, you know, I get if you've got a limited edition, and again, we're very lucky actually with this one that it's actually fully stickered and unworn as well, which is something else. But, you know, I get why people make such a fuss over that. But
with the new one, take over that position in someone's head that likes that one.
We discussed that a lot, didn't we?
As a Grail watch.
Yeah. Well, I think it is. I think you look at the value of those already, and I've seen some of the new Snoopy, this year's version, and I've seen like 23, 24.
I love the new one compared
to.
I don't dislike that, don't get me wrong.
Ditto.
But I like the new one better than that.
I think I do, yeah. I love the history, I love the story, all of that, but actually, do I like that enough for it to be a tangible
That's something else
reason for me
about
to own
Grail
it?
watch then. Does a story behind it make it more interesting and more, because Grail, a way you could describe the word Grail is desirable.
Yeah.
So does it make it more desirable because there's that whole
desire.
back history?
Okay, the two watches then. Here's something for us and for you. Of the two watches, and we know there's obviously a disparity in the current market value on both of these, so they are very different. But of the two, what would be your Grail watch of these two? The Rolex GMT Master 2 Pepsi, or the Snoopy? And why would it be one over the other? Is it because of value, or is it because of the story and the history, or is it just because of the style? What about you, Dom? What's your take on that? Of the two, gun to the head, what one are you going to choose? Snoopy.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah, I think a lot of people though would just instantly go, "Oh, it's got to be the Rolex."
But why? Why the Snoopy?
Why? Story.
Yep.
History.
Yeah. Yeah. Ditto on both counts.
Yeah.
It's funny, isn't it? That despite the fact that it does incredibly well value-wise, and it's a great-looking watch, and it's very desirable. That doesn't. The story isn't strong enough for me for it to resonate, and that is more about the romance of watch buying rather than actually the practicality. It's a steel sports watch. It's probably more practical than this. It's probably more wearable. Okay, you're probably more likely to get your arm chopped off for this one than you are for this one, because a lot of people wouldn't know what this is. But by the same token, I'm with you. I think the story, the detail, the
That's something about a Grail watch. Because you could get your arm chopped off for that one. Is that actually? It comes back to that pedestal thing again. Because it is that so many people want that, or like it, or desire after it, or lust after it, whatever you want to say, and not many people know about that. That is that why that one is a lot of people's Grail watch. because of other
possibly.
people.
And
Keeping up the Joneses.
it is, yeah, absolutely. No, you're absolutely right, and I think you're absolutely right with that. That it is about not one-upmanship, but Rolex is so aspirational that even though it might be a Grail watch for people, I've had clients here who've come in and said, "Oh, I've seen the Batman you've got in the window, or the Hulk you've got in the window, or whatever, and I really love it, but." And that's a really interesting thing for someone to say, that is the watch I love, I absolutely love that watch, but that's where my ears prick up. And 9 times out of 10, it's guys who are saying that their bosses and sat around a board meeting and all of the people that they work with are wearing the same watch. And okay, yes, it is desirable and it is rare and it is hard to get your hands on it, but it's not impossible. No. You know, if you're happy to spend lots and lots of money with the authorised dealer to line their pockets, to allow you to be sat on the waiting list, if you are happy to wait for 3 or 4 years or 5 years or 7 years or whatever, you'll get one. And then it will be on your wrist, and all the other guys around the board table will also have one on their wrist. Exactly. With something like that, where it's a limited edition, is that part of the appeal that actually it is that much more unattainable because it is limited, and it's the police are coming to find out.
Is it stolen?
It's stolen, no. So yeah, it's an interesting one. So I'm with you 100%. It would, for me, it's the story of this, and actually the subtlety and the design. I think there's something about that really floats my boat. But you're absolutely right. I prefer the new one, which actually we do have also here at David Carpenter, www.davidcarpenterwatches.com.
You got it right.
I got it right that time. Excellent. That's my age. So what about you, Dom? What's your... and again, I'll ask the same question.
I think it's a snapshot in time.
Mm-hmm. So at this moment in time, where you're at, what is it that you go, you know what... Yeah. And this isn't about money. This
no, it's not. If you're an avid viewer of this channel,
which you should be, please hit the subscribe button, and you'll be able to watch other things that we've got.
It's the Reservoir Bronze.
Yes,
for me.
Yes, you mentioned that before.
Yeah. I haven't got a bronze watch. It's relates to me in different ways. It's different. It's nice. It's out. It's not massively expensive.
No.
It's not the cheapest by any stretch of imagination, but it's not massively expensive, and it's different. But it's classic at the same time. Cool. Yeah.
So if you're from Reservoir Watches, you need to send this guy a watch.
I'm an ambassador. I wear it every day.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because like you say, that for you, that's not about the money, and it's not about the rarity. It's about desiring something that is different and that isn't on your radar, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. We've touched on this, and when we were talking about it personally, I've never seen one in flesh.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
I've looked in magazines.
Yeah.
I've seen on the web, obviously.
The power of marketing.
I love it. I want it.
And actually, a lot of Grail watches. Someone else had mentioned this. A lot of Grail watches are watches that people have never actually tried on and never actually seen in the flesh. Which is bizarre, you know, the Snoopy.
I never tried any Reservoir watch.
I know what you mean. It's funny, isn't it? Yeah. But that's very true. That actually, we have a lot of people who come in, they see the watches that we have in the window and come in and say, would you mind if I try it on? I've lusted about that watch for years. I've never seen one in the flesh. And the amount of people who put on their Instagram pictures of them in the boutique here with the watch on because they've never actually had the opportunity to see it.
But they never might have the opportunity to buy it either.
No, that's right.
They just have that opportunity in time, right there and then, to try it on.
Yeah, which actually then is where that Grail thing comes from. It's the unattainable. And actually, with that in mind, we've got, at the moment, and I'm going to put my neck on the line here, we've got probably one of the most amazing collections of Speedmasters, some of those rare and limited editions. I would say probably anywhere in the UK. I don't think I know anywhere else who has the Speedmaster limited edition collection that we've got right now. And that's we've just put a thing up on YouTube, a little film of some of those all laid out and everything. We did a little kind of try to be all arty and do panning shots and things like that. But we've got things here that I think when we when we sling those things in the window, people will look. People are ringing.
ringing for
ringing
it
for it now.
We have a 60th poster.
That's right. Yeah, I'll show that now. Actually, we'll cut to that.
Yeah.
Well, that's that sold. Brilliant. For me, I don't actually know what my Grail watch is.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't actually. There's a couple of watches that I've loved that I never owned. Is that enough to be a Grail watch? I don't know. The Cartier Roadster. Okay, Cartier Roadster, 3-hand. It's not particularly massively valuable. It hasn't done particularly well residually with value, but that's always been something I lusted after.
Because?
Started working in the industry 12 years ago and worked with a Cartier agent, and that just spoke to me. It's retro, but it's not, and it's
like you.
No, I am retro. I'm thoroughly retro. There was just something about it that spoke to me, and it was always on my radar every time. And every time I see one here, if we have one in for a service, I just get all warm and fuzzy, and I think that's possibly what it is. I don't know, but yeah, Grail watches are different for everyone. If it makes you warm and fuzzy and gets you excited and makes you want to sell your wife and children to afford one, or a liver or something like that, then potentially that's the definition. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, definitely.
Please let us know in the comments below. It'd be great to hear what your Grail watches are and why. That's the important thing. It's not what it is, it's why that does something for you. We find it fascinating here.
Yeah,
other kind of things worth mentioning, we're talking about the value, and Rolex is the next step of Patek, or is the next step an Arnold and Son, or a Lonville, or a Moritz Grossman, or a Hublot, or an AP. Do you think that Grail watches are linear? Once you've got what it is you desire, what makes you desire something else? And that's, I think, a really interesting question. I'd love to hear what you think there. If you've had a Grail watch and you've been lucky enough to attain the unattainable, what was then the next thing on your list?
Yeah. Once you've got what you want.
Because I think the Grail watch is that thing that's always elusive. It is. It's the.
It should be.
What
should it be?
I don't know. What is a Grail watch? I don't know it. Opened up Pandora's box. We now can't get it closed. So anyway, it'd be really interesting to hear what you think. Open for discussion. Obviously, what's your Grail watch? Why? If you've attained the unattainable, what was the next thing on your list? And if there is any help you need with some of those unattainable watches, we actually have quite a lot of them here. Shameless plug. www.davidcarpenterwatches.com. Check out our website. Also, you can find us online at DCIWS, which is the Facebook handle in old-fashioned speak, or at David Carpenter Watches. Oh dear. David Carpenter Watches. That's Instagram, post some pictures on Instagram of what is your Grail watch. We'd love to see what that is. Tag us in it, and we can see if we can make the magic happen and tie up some of those loose ends. Anyhow, been nice talking. Keep safe, keep smiling, and we'll see you soon. Hit subscribe down there. Thank you very much. See you later. Cheers. Bye.